I never talk about politics because I honestly don't see the point. I see a system that was designed to inevitably push out the average citizen and centralize all of the power. That's how the system has been hijacked since a long while back. And I don't need to. There are tons of YouTubers and all sorts of people that can explain to you all the different things. What I understand, though, is in my heart, through everything I know, through everything I can see and conjure, and that my joy roots for, is that this system doesn't work. It's not going to work. It's not going to be overthrown. But it can be undermined. It can be stepped out of. It can be created around. In other words, there is no power to be had in fighting the system. So I don't fight, because up until now, that's all I wanted to do, was fight the system and rally against. But I understand that's a loss of power. It's a waste of power. And there's so much power in focus that where the power is better allocated is towards the creation of what would work. What would work better than what we have? And in my opinion, there's a whole measure of weights and balances that have not been accounted for. Like, everyone has this great idea of short-term presidency. Well, how about short-term everything? How about there's no lobbying, there's no campaigning? Why do we do campaigning? Why aren't there pools of people who are qualified for positions? And there are like random selected lotteries within those qualified individuals to hold positions for very short terms. This would absolutely prevent corruption. There'd be no reason for corruption if you pay these people reasonably and responsibly and you respect their wisdom, instead of putting other people that are not qualified but are well connected in those positions. There are so many things that could be done differently, and my larger point again is there is no power in fighting the system. There's no power in asking the people that have been groomed to be a part of a system that doesn't do things in a way that actually serves the citizens. And the amount of red tape and time spent fighting and arguing and bickering and power exchanging hands that doesn't really exist, it's a waste. And you can't get anywhere in that system. You can't elect lawmakers that are going to function outside of that system because they're going to be in the system. In that case, there is no change from within. I don't see it where it's possible. And I'm not... What's my perspective? But my perspective. So all I'm saying is my brain, my heart, my focus, my planning, my hope, my inspiration is that enough people will want to join together in wisdom and land accumulation and shared responsibility and shared harvest, shared resources, a new version of community that's not based on the growth exponential model of having and accumulating, but of true abundance of allowing things to come through your hands, because you're always being given, you're always receiving. These things are possible. They're not just these crazy floaty ideals. They are the harmonious way of nature before the ego and the fear and the scarcity mindset take over. And those are the very things that cause human beings to want to have systems of government so there can be order, so we can protect ourselves from the fears of the things that happen when there's lawlessness, which I grant you can be and is very much a large part of all recorded history. So we call it human nature. However, harmonizing is part of human nature. Remaining rigid and dogmatic and obedient to past concepts that no longer prove consciously true for anyone, and remaining in these power systems, that is not nature. It's not nature. It's a control matrix. Nature, if the thing doesn't work, it dies. If we believe in evolution, if we believe in, the conditions surrounding things, either supporting life or not, if you don't water something, it dies. We're being given other things in place of water, and our life is being sustained, but we're not being given what's vital for real natural growth. So there is no part of the system which is untouched by this. And it's not a pessimistic viewpoint, I don't feel at all, that we can't make any change within this system. Wow, I just said that and it was 5:55. That is absolutely incredible. V for Vendetta. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And this is a metaphor. This movie is a metaphor. It's not to be taken literally. I repeat, it is not to be taken literally. It is a metaphor for holding accountable what and who needs to be held accountable, and say, this is what we don't want. This is what will not stand. This is what the people are not for. And then coming up through the heart space to revolutionize, what do I want to see in the world? What are the ideals of humanity? And it's coming together. It's coming together, and not to fight. It's coming together to create a new world that has not yet been conceptualized. And I think these are the next steps that are coming to us as things in the cosmos shift and change and usher in this new age, which doesn't happen on one specific portal day and all these things, which it does little by little, but all the sensationalization around things give it this meritlessness, where when you apply subtlety to the fact that things change, like a minute doesn't go by in a second, a minute takes a whole minute. So these shifts take the time that they take. They don't happen instantaneously. No one changes in an instant, but an instant can change you, and there are many instants that are changing people and our ability to conceive of better options for ourselves. Slowly but surely, and I'm finally okay with slowly. Because I understand that anything that is going to be stable has to have time spent building a solid foundation. And so this video recording is just honestly a conversation. I would love a flooding of comments to open conversation among people about not what wouldn't work. I don't want to hear what wouldn't work. Let's not talk about what wouldn't work. However, let's pitch ideas of things that we think would help, things that we think we'd like to see. And I'm talking about, again, not happening within our existing system. And I don't even want to say government, it's the whole entire system. If you were to build a community from the ground up, and this is only, let me give you all these caveats, and these are the starting points and the rules. People that want to participate, okay? When you agree to participate, you understand all the rules, terms, conditions, all those things. We're not forcing anybody here. We're not trying to accommodate every single human being in the world. We're trying to make this a thing for the people that want to see a new kind of true abundance, where we all share in the labor and we share in the harvest. And the labor is lighter because we're only doing the things that actually serve us and serve our hearts and serve our community and serve our human nature, and not someone else's profits. That's what this whole thing would be based on. So drop in the comments as much and as many ideas and inspirations and thoughts that really light you up. And I'd love to see some positive conversation. And if there's constructive, commentary, excellent. But if there's any rudeness, won't be tolerated. Anyway, thank you for listening to all of this speech. It just wanted to come through. And like I said, I don't talk about politics. So this is just love.